Personally, like music for me has always been my life. Like ever since I was like born, like my earliest memories of music is just being in the choir, like as a 3 year old. So music has always pushed me. It's made me feel something deeper than I feel like sometimes most people like when I say like I can die behind my music, like I really mean that because like music for me is like life for me. Like it's something that allows me to express myself as well as hear some of my favorite artists. It helped me feel good and push me throughout the day. Um and that's how music what music does for me in general, just like therapeutic wise, motivational wise, enjoyment wise. It's just kind of like an everyday type of thing for me. I'm always listening to music, man.
Where my money run now, protected by the ground. Where my money run now, protected by the ground. I stand a chance at the test of time.
You're watching Loud Music Only. I'm your host, A.T Bianco, and today I'm really excited to introduce one of my favorite artists. He's from Maryland, and let's just say he has a way with his words. His pen is second to none.
Hey,
His new project, Vintage Nostalgia, is hot off the press. His name is Malik Elijah. Malik, thanks for joining the show today, man.
yo, thank you for having me, bro. It's great that people want to talk to me about stuff that I release and put out.
Hey man, I'm a fan. First and foremost, I'm a fan, and I really appreciate you sending over the project. I really enjoyed it. I was listening to it all weekend. You sent it to me a few days back, and I really wanted to immerse myself in the experience. So we'll get into talking about that, what you've been up to, and stuff like that. But I like to start like, how have you been? What have you been up to lately?
I've been good, man. I just been just doing creative things, shooting visuals, just in the background, been making like just like a lot of like new production right now. Just trying to get back into the beginning stages, like creating something new while something else is already being pushed out. And also just, coming up with a lot of different plans on how we want to just build the world for vintage nostalgia in total. So that's been a lot of like the last few weeks for me at least. Yeah.
What is that's interesting you say that. What's that like for you moving on from a body of work that you've probably spent a long time on? You know, you still have to push it as far as content goes and
Mhm.
everything, but I'm sure as a creative you're always looking
Oh,
ahead. So like how do you compartmentalize that?
well, the way that I compartmentalize it is just like, when I'm performing, like I'm making sure like the songs that I previously like have released like are getting shine like when I'm doing shows and I'm always thinking about what is out right now and how I can push to what is right now. The other stuff when I'm making just stuff in the background is just like, seeing where things go because you never know like 6 to 8 months later be like, oh, I got something here. Let me like refine it and let me like get it together. So even like, making the project, like I was making like things that weren't that didn't make the track list and other maybe little ideas. So it's just all like the process. It's like once you find all those songs together that fit, you're like, yo, I can live with this and put it out and show it to the world. And then with the rest of it, it's like, okay, how can we still keep building on what I may have that hasn't been shedded light on yet?
That's interesting. And I'm sure there's like certain things you have to prioritize during that process. Really impressed with the way that you've been rolling everything out for this
Thank you.
project. I see you've been going pretty hard, posting TikTok videos, Instagram videos, getting that traction going. That's
Yep.
one thing that I notice in a lot of your artistry is that you don't shy away from showing your true self, your current situation, and stuff like that. So I'm excited to talk more about that in depth, where you're at in your career and stuff like that. But I always like to start every interview kind of learning the lore and the origin story of an artist.
Yeah.
So tell me about maybe your upbringing before you started making music, and what did you love doing as a kid that may have influenced creativity as a child?
Definitely playing chess. Chess is like one of the one things that like really influenced my creativity. I would say just because like you have to figure out different ways of maybe you might be put into a corner like within the match, within the game, and like you have to find creative ways of how to get out of that. Like I really wanted to be like a chess master for like a while. Like I just like really fell in love with the game. I did like a lot of tournaments and stuff like that, and it was fun for the few years that I played it. It was something I really wanted to just like fully master. Um, I really wanted to be good at skateboarding. Unfortunately, I'm not. But skateboarding was also like something that like I kind of felt an attachment to. I watched like all like the X Games stuff, all the why am I blanking on the Thrasher magazine, like skate covers, and obviously playing the Tony Hawk video games. Like I was really like into like skateboarding. Like I did it, but like I was never like super good at it. But like I just enjoyed the culture of it overall.
What are some of the songs, artists that you maybe listened to growing up that really stuck with you? I hear, and I think maybe it was Draped Up. You had a line about Cole. Um,
Hmm.
you kind of talked about like maybe some stuff you learned from him. What are some other artists that you listen to that really influenced your creativity and maybe the style in which you rap?
Pretty much all the early mixtape days of like uh Kendrick, Cole, Drake. I was listening to like a lot of Wiz Khalifa growing up, Mac Miller, Joey Badass, the whole Beast Coast movement era. And Mick Jenkins, obviously that whole Chicago scene, Vic Mensa. So it was just like just pretty much just a whole mixture of the whole underground early 2000s scene. That really inspired me, and like which is reasons for like why I dropped a project like Vintage Nostalgia and like the last few mixtapes. It was to pay homage to that era of music that inspired me so much. Even like with the music I make today, I still go back and reference like that. I reference The Waters all the time. I reference Summer Nights by Joey Badass. People would think 1999, but actually Summer Nights is my favorite Joey Badass project. I go to like Absol all the time. Absol is somebody I listen to and just have to realize like, yo, you got a long way to go. Type shit like lyrically. But yeah, like Mac Miller's Macadelic, Wiz Khalifa's Flight School, uh I don't even know, like Long Live ASAP. Like I reference a lot of like ASAP Rocky visuals and shit like that. Like there's so many like bro, I could we could be here forever with the amount of like artists that would pop up in my head that I'm just like, yo, like these people inspired me. Like, and I like to take inspiration from like all those genres and all those people and just try to turn it into my own thing, you know? Like even if it's for a split second, you might hear it like, oh, that might have been inspiration from that artist, and that might have been an inspiration from that artist just from like one like line in a verse. Like so, yeah.
And one thing I really liked about the name, just Vintage and Nostalgia, was the correlation with the cover art. See, I see
Mm.
you on the internet and you're promoting your music and you're at your shows. Like one thing that I always notice about you is your style. Like that Pop Tart hat that says pop shit. I think that's sick. Like I think you have really
Bro, thank
good
you.
style, man.
I appreciate it, bro. You know, it's crazy. This is actually the merch item for one of the merch items for the project. In my song, well, you've heard the project, Respect That. I say pop shit. And so like my manager K like made this logo for the video. I was like, bro, that is the logo for the hat. Like I was looking for a logo for a hat for like maybe like 3 weeks to like 3 to 6 weeks or some shit like that. And that popped up on the music video that we're gonna be releasing soon. And yeah, it just kind of stuck.
That's awesome. So that's your merch.
Yeah, I got that. So honestly, I went very minimal with the merch this time. Like well, I'm gonna be making other pieces as I go, but like right now, all I have is this hat and this coloring, and I made a coloring book for the project as well.
Oh, that's creative. So did
Yeah.
you like team up with an illustrator and
Yeah, I teamed up with this guy by the name that goes by Musical Markers. He makes a lot of different like hip hop s albums. Shout out to my girlfriend. She had found him through TikTok because she has a coloring like page that a content page that she does, and it like I gravitated towards his art design, and he we worked for like maybe like a month and a half, 2 months, and he came up with we came up together. Obviously, he drew it all out, but we came up together with 14 designs for each song on the project. And it's also obviously you don't gotta color it. It's just like a nice little table piece too. It's just something I wanted to like feel attachment to the music as well. Just because off the fact of I was coloring a lot when I was making this project. And it was very therapeutic for me because like my mind rushes a lot. As many people and many creatives do, your mind's rushing. I just needed something to slow it down so I could think about how like I wanted this project to sound, and coloring was very therapeutic for me. I'm also big into like music therapy. I was oh wait, I don't even know. Actually, I don't even think I'm allowed to talk about that. Never
Did you
mind.
say music therapy?
Yeah, I'm really big into like music therapy. Like I feel like music is a great therapy for me. I wanted to talk about like this thing that I did for a nonprofit, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it publicly just because of like the type of people that I was dealing like the kids that I was teaching. But yeah, like I'm just really big into to having like obviously music is a big part of my life. And outside of just like making it, obviously making it is very therapeutic for me, but like listening to it, like gravitating towards like my favorite artists and different verses that like really help me push through life, is something that I'm very big on.
I also want to mention how I first heard your music. I always like to mention this, like how I stumble across an artist. And it was 2 years ago. It's back in 2022.
Damn.
I first heard your song Worst Enemy with Me Music and Wakai. That was the first song that I heard of yours.
Wow. That's crazy. That's not the usual introduction that I feel like people have had. So that's great.
What's the what's the
It's
usual
usually
song people say?
it's usually don't play or serve.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then a
those are
little
up
bit,
there on
yeah,
your Spotify. Don't
yeah,
play trickled in right after that because when
yeah,
I think that might have
obviously.
been like the third song after. That one's
Hmm.
a hit. And the
Thank
worst
you.
enemy, I just liked it. I really did. I think I thought it was very unique, and it showcased your ability to portray certain emotions on a
Hmm.
song, and that led me to your music video for Some Things I Hate. And I watched that. I like went to your YouTube and watched it. And that's why I think those songs are so unique, because you showed your ability to portray like different emotions in a song. And I guess I just want to ask you, 2 years ago, where were you as far as working on like portraying certain themes in your life and your music? Because I can imagine that's not like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, like two years ago. 2 years ago, that was around like detour time and shit. It was like really me just trying to figure out like how to really make records and put records together and trusting my ear. So, and also just trying to make something that is to me what I feel like I am conscious about the things that I'm talking about, but in a way where it's like not too preachy either. It was like 2022 was a big like leap for me on just understanding song structure in general. And I still feel like I have a long ways to go when it comes to like overall production, trusting in the ear. But yeah, that was a big like growth period for me on like understanding how to make good music and a great song consistently.
There's
Yeah.
layers to it, and there's layers in your lyrics, like as far as diving deep into what you're saying. But then there's also layers, like literal layers of, I love the way you harmonize your vocals, and I hear
Thank you.
a lot of that on this project. You made some really like brave moves singing, and I've heard you sing a little bit before, but I can imagine that's not like the easiest thing to do, is really like open up your vocal cords and belt a little bit. And you were doing a bit of
Yeah.
that. So talk about working through that as you were recording this project.
It's crazy. I was singing before I was rapping. But I don't know. I just always gravitated towards hip hop and rap more. I think it's for me, like when it comes to like singing, like there has to be some sort of thing that like differentiates you from other singers because like there's times where like vocals will sound similar. And I'm still trying to explore that and find that in my own thing. But like, yeah, I feel like it's a little it was uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me in general still like hear me singing on records just for the fact of the matter is like how I like came up like I just came up from the church, so like I was more so like pinpointed for like using my singing voice to like sing for God. And obviously like in my music like I do talk about God in my music, but like I'm talking about what they quote unquote otherworldly things. So I feel like for me, now that I'm thinking about it, therapy session for a second, like it's more so like I was scared to sing because like it wasn't of God. Like it was even tough for me like telling my parents I cussed in my music at around like 2020. Like I made like a family group chat and I just dropped my project Free Lemonade when it dropped. And I was like, this is me, like love me or not. But like yeah, obviously like my parents love me and are proud of the thing, like proud of me. And obviously we have disagreements on how my life should go, but overall they're still happy for me. So
I love that. This is me.
yeah.
Like it or
Yeah,
not. It's so
like,
ballsy to do.
yeah, yo, I was just like, you know what, like, cause like at the end of the day, like it's very hard for me to like not be who I am. Like I obviously I'm not, I don't look at myself as like the super cool guy or whatever. Like I'm just like who I am, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like there needs to be more representation of that, not only in like the celebrity realm or the celebrity realm or whatever, but just like people who look at other artists is just like, yeah, I make dope ass music, but like I'm not gonna be here and try to act all super mysterious and shit. Like just like I'm just Malik. I'm Malik Elijah. I make dope ass music, and it's like, yo, what's up? Talk to me. like,
I love that. That's
like
a
learn me
clip
as a
right there. I
person.
like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go back to what I was kind of saying before of, and I really mean this of how I love how transparent you are. Like that's kind of it bounces off of what you were just saying. It's like you're Malik Elijah. Like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm some, I don't know, mysterious, cool
Yeah.
entity. I'm myself. And I think that's very relatable to new fans, current fans. And you show your transparency as far as like lines and draped up. Like when I saw you promoting this clip and this snippet of it's hard to work a 9 to 5 when you know that you're the one.
Yeah.
I think that line hits. It hits
Mm,
for me, and I can think it could hit for a lot of different people because that is so relatable. So
mm.
I'm curious, like I want you to talk about what that's been like for you because I know what it's like to have a 9 to 5 that sometimes sucks the life out of you. It could suck the
Yeah.
creativity out of you. It could drain you. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like while you're, going from stop to stop, you prop your phone up and you're making some videos with your song. So talk about that process and how you deal with that because it's not an easy thing to maneuver.
Well, first, as a disclaimer, I want to say it's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. When I mean shit like that, when I'm talking about stuff like that, I mean like find what you are passionate about and go forth and do that. You could want to make aglets on shoelaces. If that's your passion, go do that shit. Like that's what I mean when I say hard to work a 9 to 5. It's hard being in a space where you're not appreciated to stay in it for that long. That's a little bit behind that line. But as it comes to 9 to 5, I actually don't work a 9 to 5. I work like I deliver in my whip and I, do my stuff like my music shit. So like I'm on the verge like right now of it becoming full-time music, which is a great feeling. It's still a little tougher though because I obviously like I am taking the risk of like not working a job to and working for myself, delivering my car and being able to like have that freedom of, when I have to travel or go do shows. Uh so dealing with that just in general is tough every day because like you wake up, you're like, yo, I gotta make some money, and then I gotta find time to do this stuff for my music. Like I'm maneuvering in a realm right now where I'm doing better than I was in the beginning, but it's still like a tough spot to be in because like every day like shit can change.
One of my favorite videos of yours, I think it was back in the fall, was um it was a video, and you had the caption, working a 9-hour shift as an independent artist delivering packages, thinking about how I'm opening for Freddie Gibbs later tonight.
Hmm.
And I saw that video, and I loved it. I just loved the honesty in it, and I thought it was really cool that you were opening up for Freddie Gibbs. And I
Yeah.
see that you do a lot of performances. I think you're very good at putting yourself out there, and I see that you did a festival recently. Was it like the Tree Fort
Yeah.
Festival or something like that?
I did Tree Fort Festival out in Boise, Idaho. It was an amazing experience. I got to meet Kaylin Ellis, which was really dope. And I just had a very decent sized crowd for myself, uh, which is the great thing about a Tree Fort Music Festival is that like people are very into discovering new acts if they don't even know them. And surprisingly enough, like I had people like pull up to the festival to come see me perform, which was a blessing in itself. But like, yeah, I had like a nice little 200-person crowd, and they gave me some great energy, even if they didn't know the songs or not. Yeah, but when it comes to performing, I've chilled a little bit more on performance right now because most people don't realize how expensive it actually is to like be able to go to different cities all the time, and sometimes you do a show, you're blessed enough to even break even, let alone make some money. Sometime, like as long as you're breaking even, you're usually in the clear and you're good. But yeah, it can get super rough monetary wise, but I'm gonna be back out on the road very soon. I'm planning towards it. I'm trying to be in as many states as possible to promote vintage nostalgia because I really have a strong belief that this can go somewhere as long as I get it into as many people's faces as possible.
And back on like the like opening up for a bigger artist kind of opportunity. I'm
Mhm.
curious on what that's like, as far as that Freddie Gibbs opportunity. Like, is it different when you're performing, opening up for a bigger artist? And like, is your mindset different going into it? What's that
Yeah.
like backstage? Like, and did you get a chance to chop it up with him at all?
Well, for me, I started off doing DIY shows where I was headlining all the time. So I kind of understood like, when people are there for you type vibe. But it's always nice to be able to be in front of like a whole fresh new crowd who's amped to see like their big artists, and you in turn feel like you've got some dope music. You've done a lot of practice in the background doing DIY shows where there was not even fucking stages, and you're just practicing kind of, and people actually showing up. And then you get to a big ass stage as you're standing in front of like 500, 600 people that, yeah, they might not be there for you or whatever, but you're about to give them the best 20 to 30 minutes that you ever had. Thankfully enough, I was the only person opening. They gave me 30 minutes to perform.
Oh
And
wow.
crazily enough, there was actually people who were fans of me that were in the crowd. Like there was one kid who literally grabbed, I guess he stole my fucking track list off the stage to see if I was performing my song only, and then he put it back before I came on stage type shit, which was hilarious.
That
But
is hilarious.
yeah, he told me. I took a picture with him. He told me that shit. I was like, "That's funny as fuck." But yeah, it's a different mindset because you're just like, "Yo, I'm trying to win people over." And thankfully enough, I was able to win people over that night, and Providence gave me a great just energy, great love. Shit, they screamed for me like everybody knew me, so it was great.
That's awesome.
But
It's probably such
talking
a
to friends,
surreal experience. Just like
bro.
standing up there. Like I'm sure you can't even put it into words on like how that makes you feel.
It feels like it's only for like 30 seconds. I lie to you not. It doesn't feel like it's that long, even though you might be on stage for a great amount of time. It's something that I can't really describe, and something that I look forward to doing night in and night out eventually, Feel I'm believing that that's very soon. But yeah, it's a crazy experience.
There's
I
a
can't even
magic
describe
in
it.
that. There's a magic, like, even as a fan, like going to a show and seeing the energy exchange from artists to other people in the
Hmm.
crowd, like you're witnessing that magic happen
Yeah.
in real time. And I just that's what keeps me coming back to shows. And I think um earlier on in my life, and liking music and stuff like that, I went to bigger shows for like bigger artists, but I just have like
Hmm.
such a different love for going to like your couple hundred people shows because it's up close, it's intimate, it's personal. And a lot of artists get to talk to their fans and get on the ground and get to learn who they're who's listening to their music. And that's one thing I think that you do very well as far as like working on and doing so. That's the best way of converting real fans in real time. And I saw,
Yeah.
I think it was on Instagram last week or something, you were like, who are my homies near Boston that want to link up and smoke and hang out or something like that and just talk. I want to play you some new music. I love that. I think that's so, it's cool. It's just I don't think a lot of artists do that. And I
Yeah.
think now, within the past like few years, I feel like we're in a little bit of a renaissance as far as um artist to fan interaction. Like you're
Oh,
seeing
most
more and
definitely.
more artists do things like that. And I'm just like curious, as far as like if you have anything else like lined up, like any creative ideas you've been throwing around to really get on the ground and link up with fans.
I'm still trying to really figure out how to do that outside of just like like a listening party. I do got some ideas that I'm still trying to build upon. Can't really talk about them yet, but I do want to do things outside of like a listening party and outside of like a show that I can do for like my fans. As I grow and as my fan base grows. There's just a lot of things. Just being able to have the capital and also being able to have the amount of people that would take time out of their day to come chill with this guy.
So I'm curious on the creation of a lot of your music videos. Um, the music video you had to Draped Up. I love the style of that one. I know in the music video it didn't have Cousin Stiz, but in the actual song it had a feature from Cousin Stiz. Um, Talk about that collab because I was really excited to see you guys team up. It was like a collab I never like thought of, or like you didn't know you needed that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah,
so
nah,
yeah, just talk about that song, how that collab was created, and then what it was like shooting the video for it.
I was cooking up with the homie Drew Regis for months during this whole project process, and we had made Draped Up, and it was a song I was sitting on, and then I got to the point talking with my management team, my A&R about like who like type of features that I want to get, and like Draped Up was obviously a song that people were feeling, like everybody in the team was feeling. I was like, I want to get Stiz on it. And funnily enough, my A&R, Jake Selby, shout out him. He made the connection. Yeah, I knew Cousin Stiz's management because before, like when Cousin Stiz hopped on the song, I had never met him outside of just like listening to his music since like college times, Suffolk County, Monda, all that shit. And I recently actually just met him like a few weeks ago. He was really cool. He was super nice to me, and he was like, "Bro, you was rapping your ass off on that record, and." you know, hopefully some from that builds and I'm able to work with, one of my heroes more often. But it was still a blessing to have him a part of that track. And just to hear like how he complimented the song was great. I felt like I was getting advice from his verse when I was hearing the rap from it. It was super refreshing, and I knew what he was gonna do when he heard that record, and he delivered is exactly what I expected. So it was just great to be able to work with like one of my heroes. Yeah.
And another song I really enjoyed was Contrast.
Yeah.
Um, I think you floated on that, dude. You
Yeah.
like coasted on it, and I just really enjoyed it. It was an easy listen, and I'm just curious if you're like able to recall what mindset you were in
I
when
was
when
tired
you
as fuck.
record that. Do you like remember like
Yeah,
what
I remember the
session or
day.
like where you're at in that?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. For 80% of this project was done in person. So Flawless Victory, when I first started it, I was in Seattle with my homie Ronnie Fuego. We produced it, and for this one, I was in the studio with my homie Roto at 4 in the morning. He came down from Vermont because he produced on Group Therapy's last project. And Pop the Trunk, trunkpoppers.com is a song that he produced off the album. And Group Therapy was on tour with Toby Lou at the time. So we obviously he knows Group Therapy. I know Group Therapy too. And bless us with some free tickets to the show. And we watched that show, hung out with them for a little bit, took a shot or whatever. Um, Came back home just off of good energy, good vibes. It was like maybe like 3, 4 in the morning. He played me that beat. He thought I wasn't even. He thought it was like whack or whatever. He was like, "Yeah, this beat's all right." I was like, "Bro, nah, that's the beat I want." And then played that shit. And then I recorded it that night. Yeah, he was knocked out on my little futon or whatever. I was still sitting here in front of this microphone, just like, nah, I gotta finish this one. This just feels different
Sometimes
because
those are the best songs. You're like, I
yeah.
should probably be sleeping right now, but man, I'm a night owl. I'm finishing this shit.
Yeah, I had to commit that time. I usually go to sleep now at nighttime, trying to get better with my sleeping patterns. But yeah, that one I was like, nah, I gotta figure this shit out, or like at least come up with the full idea and then polish it up later. But yeah, majority of Contrast is all the original recordings.
One of the songs that I really like that you dropped as a single, Too Late.
Mm.
Um, that song, the production on it. Did you make that beat?
I made most of it, but then I had the homie Drew Regis, Swiss Army knife, came through and he put that first 808 because on Too Late there's two different 808s. So the first one with my verse is his joint, and then the second one is mine. So I because like I knew the way that Drew does it 808s are insanity to me. So I needed something from his bag to be able to like finish the song, and like he was able to add that one piece and it like all brought it together. But yeah, I produced the majority of that record. It took me 2 hours to flip that sample because like I had to like kind of like relearn how to make beats. Because like I hadn't been making beats for a while. I was just like working with like my producer homies and just using their beats. But I want to get out. This was my step into getting my hand into more production, so I wanted to have more of a thing. And Too Late came out about from that, and it was help make that record from start to finish. So it was crazy experience
Did
getting
you
that
say it took
record.
you 2 hours to flip that sample?
I was out, yeah, bro, because I was trying to really find. I've never really chopped up like a full like 3 minute song and I tried to find like bits and pieces. And I had like few different variations of how I chopped the sample. So it took a while to like figure out how to pick it. Plus I was just kind of like vibing and adding the effects to it and all that shit. But yeah, it was really fun to make that because that was like me also developing a new skill at the same time.
You did a hell of a job with it because that was
Thank you.
the sound of it. Like the sound of that sample just like grabs you. Like I don't know if it's I don't want to sample snitch here, but it's like the it's like tribal singing or
Yeah.
screaming of some sort is nuts.
Yeah, it's a old folk song from I think like the Philippines or some shit like that. But I got that sample cleared, so it's fine.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
talk about
yeah. The sample's cleared, guys. Shout out Tracklive. They need to sponsor me.
Fog featuring Kinrose.
Hmm.
Um, I think that song very, very special. And I love how you kind of referred to that feeling of gloom as Mr. Fog.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard dealing with those things like while staying consistent with your career and you know waking up one day and you're kind of wake up in a little bit of a fog. Maybe you deal with some, maybe someone deals with like depression or anxiety and self-doubt, and like working through those things every day is very difficult. So I'm curious on like how music helps you through the fog in everyday life, and maybe what this song personally means to you and how it helped you.
Personally, like music for me has always been my life. Like ever since I was like born, like my earliest memories of music is just being in the choir, like as a 3 year old. So music has always pushed me. It's made me feel something deeper than I feel like sometimes most people Like when I say like I can die behind my music, like I really mean that because like music for me is like life for me. Like it's something that allows me to express myself as well as hear some of my favorite artists. It helped me feel good and push me throughout the day. Um, and that's how music what music does for me in general, just like therapeutic wise, motivational wise, enjoyment wise. It's just kind of like an everyday type of thing for me. I'm always listening to music, man. Always. I've been listening to hella McGee lately. That album is amazing. That out
Dude, that shit makes you feel. The Dream Police album. Oh my god.
bro,
He's
how
so
many
different,
miles?
like
Bro,
insane.
bro.
And like do you listen to him when you listen to him, right? Do you listen to him and you're just like, I don't know, you feel something different? Like
Yeah.
there's something there, that I don't know, that you almost can't compare to any other music.
It's how he's treating he's making the guitar. He's like remaking the guitar right now, I feel, in my personal opinion. Just from like all the things that I've seen about like different guitarists talking about him. They're just like, yo, he's like giving a new sound to something that was already like had a sound. Like it's insanity when
Like
it comes to that.
reinventing the ways in which
Yeah.
you could use a guitar. And if you have someone like Eric Clapton saying that, I saw like
Yeah.
Eric Clapton saying something like that, of how he's like reinventing ways of of playing the guitar, and he has like very similar feelings that he felt in comparison to when he first saw like Prince play the guitar,
Yeah,
and
bro.
just like other big time guitarists that are just like icons,
Yeah.
um, and it's just like it's really cool to see that. And like he's a pretty good singer, but like we're living in this day and age where like you don't really need to be that good of a singer, but if
Yeah.
you're singing with emotion,
Yeah.
like that's all you need. You just need like the emotion behind the inflection of in which you sing. And he
Yeah.
just does like such a unique um way of singing that I think just
Yeah.
resonates with a lot of people, and his melodies are beautiful.
Bro, and that's what it brings it back to like fog, where it's like I say, I repel the fog with a fan, quick little switch of the hand. I can't be lost in this life, only get lost in making jams. It's like as a creative, we have to push for new boundaries and challenge ourselves, challenge the listener at the same time as we challenge ourselves. That is the only way that we can level up and advance ourselves as musicians and with whatever that you want to do in this life. You have to take from the old and to be able to push from the new at the end of it, but also repel through, the society norms of what was already popular.
For a song like Respect That, you were, I'm sure you were in the studio, you were there with J Mac, um recording that. Was that kind of like a fun, like back and forth song for you guys to make? Like, did you show up with a verse already prepared? What was that process like? Because a fun
So
rap song, like traditional rap song to listen to.
So the song, the part that I had was already done. And I probably had pitched this song like a few times to J Mac before like it actually happened. It just so happened that I got booked for a show in LA and I was able to like link up with him in person because J Mac, as well as many other collaborator homies, is busy and has his own thing going on. But it was a blessing enough for him to be able to take a few hours of his time to like come with me and hang out with me and the homie Garrett at his studio and played him the song and he was feeling it, wrote it right there, recorded it. At first we weren't even like at first like when we heard the song, we wasn't really feeling it. And then like I listened to it again, listened to it over and over again, and like I was like, nah, this is definitely the one we should put out. Because I think we got like one other record in the tuck right now, or two. I can't remember, but we got a few other joints, but that was the one that felt like actually like right to do.
Like a personal favorite moment that I have from this is on Lose Yourself. I wanted to mention, like, you kind of sounded like Thundercat singing on Lose Yourself.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. You know what's crazy? I was thinking more like when I made the song, like even when I heard the beat, I thought Flying Lotus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it like when I heard the beat, I was like, yo, this sounds like some shit like Flying Lotus would do. But like hearing Thundercat is crazy. But you know, it's wild. I did see a Thundercat like show. Like I saw his headline show. Um, probably maybe a few months before like I made that record. So that probably could have been an influence just from hearing all the crazy shit that that motherfucker can do with a bass. Insane. And singing
Insane.
at the same
I think
time.
it's so unique, like when there's like a front man bassist who could sing and play the
Mm.
bass. Like it's just you're playing the groove of the entire song, and for him, like that was probably a crazy show to go see. Where do you see him?
I saw him at MGM in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the show. It was the show after Childish Gambino and all them people popped up at the what was it, either New York or LA show. I can't remember, but his voice was kind of like gone. This motherfucker was drinking hot ass tea, like scorching hot. You could literally like I was sitting in like the front area, so you could literally see the smoke of the tea like coming up. And his assistant was like brought like three out of there during like the whole set, and he drunk all of them. This shit was insane.
He's taking care of the vocal cords. Do you have a favorite like concert that you've ever been to?
Tame Impala.
Ooh,
Yeah.
where do you see
Yeah.
them?
I saw Tame Impala at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
It was
Me and
that
my
in
girl, we drove
Connecticut?
through the snow. Yeah, it was in Connecticut. Me and my girl drove through the snow to go see him. It was insane. Yeah, I was lit. I felt, bro, when he played eventually, I ascended into the air. Like, I really felt like my soul was ascending when I heard him play that song. So I was high as fuck too. Like it was like, and I've seen some dope ass performances, but I don't know. That Tame Impala show was the energy there was crazy, the vibe was there was crazy, and every song he performed sounded like the recorded songs, but 10 times better.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I felt like that when I saw Sampha um
Damn.
in October. I was visiting my sister out on the West Coast, and that was like a. I think he's like just as rare as like Frank Ocean. It's like seeing a unicorn perform
Oh,
or
most
something.
definitely, bro. He's definitely like the UK Frank Ocean, if I would say anything.
And it was just it was special. There's certain shows you go to, and it's just like it's a spiritual experience. You feel the music through you, and it just moves you. And that was one of them. And you could just like see everyone around you that's like just absolutely mesmerized um, on someone performing like that. So yeah, Tame Impala is on my list. So
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see them on like an outdoor show or something like that.
But nah, yeah. It was in an arena. It was probably like 10,000 people in that bitch. It was crazy. I had to buy shirts. That's how amped I was. I bought some merch shirts.
One of my last questions here that I always like to ask: what are some goals that you have? I usually say like within the next year that you want for your music, but like what are some goals that you have for the next 5 that you want music to create for in your life?
Next 5, I just want to be consistently touring. I just want to be consistently touring for next 5 years and beyond. That's like the really big goal. And I want to have established brand deals with companies that I believe in, and maybe working on other creative outlets like short films or something like that, or coming up with other cool ways of hanging out with my fans or something like that. But we'll see. But 5 years, by that time I'll probably be on my second album. My second album too. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting thing to see in 5 years. I know I already have an idea of what I want to do, but obviously touring is the main thing for me. I just want to perform. I love performing.
As we wrap things up here, man, I really appreciate your time and your
Yeah.
thought, like putting into all your answers. I know some of the questions I ask aren't the easiest to answer, but I really appreciate your time. Big fan of yours, man. So thank you.
Nah, thank you for wanting to talk to me about the music, man. I truly appreciate it. Shit. I'm about to say I'm missing my management meeting because I was having such a good conversation.
That's my bad. Sometimes I get lost in a conversation,
Nah,
man.
it's
So
all good.
I
It's
hope you
all
can make
good.
that management meeting. But I really appreciate it. And to everyone at home, this has been our interview with the one and only Malik Elijah. His new project is out now. It's called Vintage Nostalgia. It's got
Yes,
hit
sir.
after hit, absolutely no skips. I
Oh
appreciate you
shit.
watching. You're watching Loud Music Only. I'm your host, A.T Bianco. This has been our dope conversation with Malik Elijah. We'll see you next
Hey.
time.